if you have a tormentor or someone who has turned you into a scapegoat, there's a good chance they could have used the tactic that I like to call the death seed. Hi, my name is Olivia. I am passionate about helping you understand what relational trauma is so that you can avoid it, overcome it, and ultimately move on with your life. So today, everything is coming from A Scapegoat No More Forever. You can find it on Amazon.com. So with something that I like to call the death seed, this is, let me give you a disclaimer first. So today is going to have a trigger warning because we're going to talk about death and dying and sort of like the threat of death as well. So if you're in a place where you are not ready to hear that type of a conversation or you don't want to listen to me talk about that, then please, this is your chance to just skip this video and you can watch the other videos that are found in the series. And I will put a card and link it to the other series, the other videos in the series, so you could go watch that. Okay. So with the death seed, this is something that the tormentor, which is usually the person who's creating the scapegoat, the tormentor places in us, and so can those that are enabling the tormentor. So it's a reminder of their immortality. So the fact that someday they are going to pass away. So they like to bring that up. And there's a lot of ways someone can bring that up. And it usually happens when we're trying to confront them on their poor behavior or their bad behavior or their abuse, or we're trying to set a boundary. We're trying to have limits with them so they stop being abusive and stop controlling us or stop just treating us any old way they want to. That's not great. And when you try to set those boundaries or stop some of that poor behavior, then they could say things like, well, maybe you'll just be happier when I'm dead. Or, I guess, you're just, nothing's going to change until I'm gone and maybe I should just go away now. And so you're like, well, what do you mean go away? What does that mean, right? So there's lots of ways that someone can start to plant that seed and that reminder that I'm not always going to be here. One of these days, I'm just going to be gone and maybe then you're going to be happy. And it's meant to disarm us because when you start thinking about someone's inevitable passing, then it's like, oh, I need to stop. And then you start to feel like they're more fragile maybe than they really are. So we really can't confront someone who's fragile. We can't confront someone who's going to pass away. We can't really have a boundary because then we feel really selfish. And then we think like, yeah, it is going to be horrible for me when you pass away. I am going to be really sad when you pass away. And I am really scared about you passing away. So I better just stop what I'm doing right now and just live in the present moment and just be grateful that I have your presence with me now. So it's really meant to disarm you. It's meant to distract you. It's sort of like a handcuff. It cripples us. And not only that, but you may find that other people within the system, whether it's a family system or a friend system, any other type of system, which just means there's other people that kind of make up that relationship or that dynamic. That's what makes up the system. So maybe you have a sibling that says, mom's old or dad's not going to be here forever, right? All of those things are also watering that death seed. And as that death seed starts to grow, that's what makes them really fragile. That's what makes them more important. And we can feel like we owe them something, right? So because you're going to pass away someday, now I owe you my kids. Maybe I owe you my finances. Maybe I owe you all of my time. I owe you my dignity. I owe you my resources, right? Whatever it is that you start to feel like you owe them because they're using that toxic guilt because they're going to pass away someday. By the way, if you don't know what toxic guilt is, you can go back and watch the prior video. But really thinking of, okay, so it's true. You are going to pass away someday, but so am I. So because I'm going to, does that mean you owe me something? No, you don't owe me something because I'm going to pass away someday. And if I'm not treating you well, I don't deserve to keep you in my life. I don't deserve to just keep being abusive and expect that you're going to stay here. And then I'm going to guilt you from wanting to stand up to me because you're going to pass away. See how dysfunctional it is when you kind of put the shoe on the other foot? Then you're like, oh yeah, that's not okay, right? But when the tormentor's doing it to us, usually it's over a period of time. And just like most abuse, it's slow, it's progressive. It's that proverbial frog in the pot of boiling water. You don't jump into a pot of boiling water. You're in the water, and over time, it's slowly upping the temperature until it is boiling and you don't notice it. So Pay attention if somebody brings up the fact that they are not immortal, the fact that they, their mortality is brought into question, the fact that they're going to pass away someday, especially if they're bringing that up when you're talking to them about cheating on you, or if they're bringing it up when you're talking to them about hurting you emotionally or physically, or using you to some capacity, or consistently doing the very thing you keep asking and maybe even begging them to stop doing. So that is what the death seed is, and it's very effective. It is meant to distract, to disarm, and to handcuff us, and other people can use and water the death seed that someone else has planted in us. So again, that would be like the sibling saying, Dad's not going to be here forever. What are you doing? You're watering the death seed. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I better ask him to stop, being abusive towards me because he's not going to be here forever. That doesn't even make any sense. But when you're that frog in the pot of boiling water, it works. It's effective. So all of this again comes from A Scapegoat No More Forever. And eventually we will talk more about how to overcome that death seed, because man, that is a real thing, and it really does keep you stuck, and it really does keep you hooked, handcuffed, and disarmed. So if you like this and you want more, you can watch, I'll leave other videos that are in the series, and also you can find the book on Amazon or a course on my website. Everything will be linked in the description. Take good care, and I'll see you in the next one.